Hey guys, my name is Garrett Gunn, and you probably don't know me from books like Good Boy, Little Red Ronin, Horns, and a bunch of other stupid things. And you are on Splash Pages.
Sword of Omens, come to my hand. I, Lion-O, commanding. Thundercats, ho! And you're watching The Dorkening.
Hey, happy Tuesday, everybody. You are watching Splash Pages. My name is Leon, the monkey behind the keyboard here. We have a great show scheduled for you as always. And with us, we have Carrie. How's it going?
Going good, everybody. Hello, happy Tuesday. We have a very happy Ratatosker. He found a new beverage. He's got some new moonshine. Comes in a nice little bottle. Old Smoky Moonshine. So I got drunk the other night. It's his turn to get drunk tonight because I have to pay attention because we have a really exciting guest on that I really want to talk to and talk about. So let's see how Jar Jar is doing.
Yeah, it's Jar Jar here.
Oh, wait. Maybe not. Actually, let's go see how Drew is doing. Drew.
Oh, no, sorry. I wasn't frozen. I just wanted to have that stunned. I was trying to recreate Garrett's face. It's very difficult. Oh, right. Sorry, everybody. Hi, it's Tuesday. It's Splash Pages. You had nothing better to do. And we're really glad you decided to give us an option because there's so many other things that probably cost money. For now. But, so yes, it's Tuesday. We have a great guest who's coming back because he actually liked us enough the first time that he agreed that he'd come back for round two. He is a creator that we're all huge fans of now. His stuff is the kind of thing that you definitely would see more on the big screen, whether it's the movie theater or your computer. The creator, co-creator, writer of Good Boy, ECPD, I Hate You, Please Die, Horns, everything. The good-humored, bearded, can't believe he's back again, Mr. Garrett Gunn, everybody.
What's going on?
Right.
How's it going, guys?
Good. Welcome back.
Thank you. It's good to be back.
Indeed. So, as we were saying before the show, I know that one of your most recent shows, you went to C2E2.
Yes, I did.
And you were just saying how it's a blast, but you said you feel you have more fun at C2E2 when you don't have a table.
Yeah, I'm a poor planner.
Mm-hmm.
And I forget to apply to go to shows.
Okay.
And then when it's like, hey guys, it's a month and a half till C2E2, aren't you excited to go? And I'm like, oh shit, I don't have a table. So then I find somebody to like put up with me for the show.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so much nicer to just like show up and hang out with people and do like events and then be like, I've had enough of people. I'm going to go back to the bar.
Right.
It's way more like, I feel like when I'm stuck behind a table and I'm like forced to like sit there and be like, wait for people to pass by, it like drains my energy. And then I'm not as interactive with people,
right.
I'm like enthusiastic. So like showing up, like it's the same way I am in fitness. Like I'm like a dwarf, good for short bursts of like high intensity and then not endurance. So, I think that fits me better.
Yeah, agreed. I'm of the short burst now. I'm great. And then we're going to nap now. We're going to take a nap. We're going to take a siesta. And then we're going to come back 120%. But now.
I did think that was I was like, man, I contemplated that the last show I did at MegaCon. When I had a table, I was like, maybe I'll just like take naps under the table, put a little sign up that's like, back for a signing, whatever, take a nap, pop up, do a signing, go back to sleep.
You should do that, but at the same time, God forbid someone looks under the table and just sees sleeping creator. That's where they put the end of the con.
Yeah.
So I do have to just real quick. Sorry, I do have to say, that's one of the perks of getting older. Like that is that's a bonus. Like you can work in a nap for a day. You've had a good day.
Dude, listen, if the Army taught me anything, like I can sleep anywhere at any time. Like I could just like the drop of a dime can go to sleep. So I squeeze them in whenever I can. Anytime. Yeah.
And if you want to pop by Terrificon, you can come hang out with us and Ratatosker will go to the bar with you. You can go and just sit with him and like He'll have a couple
When I
drinks with
saw-
you.
Oh, the thing, it was like squirrel wrangler. I didn't know that was literal.
Like it's from we squirrel off on topics, and so I pop up and I'm like, we're getting away here. But sometimes he just gets drunk.
Guys' system of stay on task and don't.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, I would say the joke is that we're all nuts, so naturally a squirrel would show up.
Oh,
But
there.
thank you. Well, I'm not as punny as you, sir. But I think also on top of it, we've seen the squirrel who, at this point, I think Carrie is the only one who ever says his name right. Because every show, we say it, and she's like, okay, no, it's this. Like, I know I've told you before, like, for the love of God, you can say all these creators perfectly. You can't get a Norse squirrel name right. And I'm like, no.
Yeah.
No.
It's okay.
None of them get it right.
Brains are up.
What?
So speaking of things not getting right, one of the things I use AI to help me prep for the show, to do research and to build everything together. And you're going to get a kick out of this.
My God.
It was mostly good for you, Garrett, but your ECPD,
Yeah.
ChatGPT thought it was Emergency Cat Police Department.
I mean, I don't hate it.
Yeah, right?
Emergency Cat Police Department.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, I fuck with emergency cats. That sounds dope.
Yeah, you never know. Listen, there's nothing wrong with emergency spitting. Every once in a while, it saves your life and it's adorable. Boom, done.
Yeah.
Piper.
That works. Yeah. It works. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Have you
Call her in when shit gets too hot.
So there was one thing I definitely wanted to bring up. This is kind of one of my questions, is that in one of the books that I know you're working on, I think it's on issue 2, the very unexpectedly dark and amazingly serious I Hate You, Please Die.
Yeah.
The fact that you not only make a 40-year-old virgin reference, but you reference that in the thing was just an ice in the cake. Because I was like, oh my God, I know that scene. I know that movie.
Yeah. It's one of my favorite, like, it's such a, like, off-the-cuff, like, scene. Like, it's not, like, it's just so random.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's such a weird, like, cameo by Kevin Hart. And, like, just the whole thing just feels like it's a miniature movie inside the movie, and you're like, what the fuck is going on with these two? Yeah. But that line that he says, like, I don't know what any of those words mean, so I'm going to take them as disrespect. Like, that's one of the funniest, that's just one of my favorite lines in the movie. So it seems perfect for the bully to, be as...
Yeah, I definitely caught myself saying that once or twice, like, especially if I feel like when Leo's talking some technical jargon, I'm just like, you're saying a lot of words. I don't know what they mean, but I'm going to insinuate that you think I'm stupid. So watch your mouth and press the damn button.
Yep, exactly.
But he's the nicest person in the world, so he doesn't take offense to it. But then he'll put like a fake snake somewhere in my hotel room. Is that right, Leo? Like, no, I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to?
Nothing like that end of the con night. Like, I'm just going to go to bed, and you just feel a fake copperhead snake in your bed. I'm like, I'm going to kill him.
We wouldn't be friends anymore.
Yeah, I was like, I'm going to kill him.
Like, you're in my neck of the woods, so it could not be a fake one. So
yeah, well, the thing being is, I feel like I have that moment like Gina Davis in Beetlejuice when she's eyeing Lydia's stepmom, like, I'm going to get her. Like that, when you do that to me, I'm like, I'm going to get him. I swear to God, I'm going to tie his shoes together. Just something like simple, that not too destructive, because I don't want to hurt you, buddy, but I want to make you suffer a little. Like,
I want to hurt you, I just want to make you suffer.
Yeah. But I love that.
To make you suffer, I have an update to the snake story, which I'll tell later. I won't go into it now.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah. I also want to say, just as in terms of a thing, is I'm so glad you're continuing with more good boy stories, because I kind of like the way you ended Volume 3. Definitely suggested there was more, but I like this prequel story because we've seen so much of Flint But now we're seeing a different side. We're seeing Flint when he was a duo. So he was with, and
yeah, it's a very different dynamic. Like his personality, like pre John's death, like he was a lot funnier, a lot more like of a like trickster and like humor and like a lot more alive.
Yeah.
Like so, like that was one of the important things. I felt like, when Christy and I discussed doing this prequel, we were like, it's both extremely sad and awesome to tell the story because we get a glimpse of like pre-trauma Flint. And kind of this amazing relationship that him and John had and how badass they were together, which you'll see, in the coming issues. But it's also just so disheartening, like to see what he became after losing that. So it's wow. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, Volume 4 is so sick. It's crazy. Jesus.
Gary?
Oh, I was going to say, so after we have the prequel, are we then going to find out more?
Oh yeah.
Like going, okay.
We've got through 6 volumes written. So we've got after this one, then we cut back to the end of Volume 3, and Volumes 5 and 6 are a continuation of Volume 3. So.
And then I saw they had the ash can on the Kickstarter for the Bad Girl.
Yeah, and Bad Girl's in Volume. So Bad Girl shows back up at the end of Volume 5, and she's mostly the antagonist of all of Volume 6, essentially.
Oh, cool.
There's a lot. There's a lot more coming. There's a lot of crazy stuff going on. We get the thing I want to always do, Christy does too, the thing we always want to do with Good Boy is like we always want to do something crazy in the next thing. And like they're superheroes in Volume 5. Like and it's like so crazy and out there and wild. And my favorite part of it is that like when we tell people that, they're like, really, superheroes? And I'm like, in a world where dogs are mercenaries? Like, yeah. Like, sure, like it doesn't seem that far-fetched. But it's the way we did it, it's far-fetched, see? So like, but the way I think we did it, it's gonna be really fun and just wacky as fuck.
Yeah. So I had a question because we read a lot of your stuff, and we're noticing more often the idea of a shared universe. So are all of your stories within the same universe? Is like for instance, like Mark Miller, he did, he's been writing his stuff for ages, and he finally had Big Game, which was like his Mondo crossover where everybody kind of met. Are your stories in the same universe? Like, is there a chance that they'd all cross over? Or
there's we call it the Absurdiverse. It's like our world that all this dumb shit lives in. So far we've got in the same world we have Good Boy, Swagjackers, which was an ash can, and then is going to become that's going to be a part of Volume 5 of Good Boy. Bad Girl. Cold Dead Hands, like no one. So we did a thing called the Fiend Yearbook at the end of 2022, and it was like we took all the ash cans we had done and we compiled them into a hardcover. So it was like, hey, if you wanted to check out like a bunch of different stories we do, you could get this yearbook, and it had all these things. And in the front of the book, there's like a class photo of 2022, and people don't really. We put Easter eggs in there knowing people wouldn't pay attention, just in the off chance that like somebody did. One person has brought the like big Easter egg to our attention. What?
Carrie would be the one who would notice.
Yeah. So there is some not direct links, but there is some implied links to even like I Hate You, Please Die in Good Boy. Tons of different stuff. So there is a shared universe. For now, it mostly surrounds the Good Boy stuff, but there is plans to make it bigger. It's ever growing. It's also just like a matter of convenience. If I see a thing that like makes sense, and I'm like, I'll just whatever. We'll just tie that in to this. Right. But yeah, just kind of flat out seat of my pants. So.
Well, okay, cool. No, I mean, listen, we're all for it because crossover events when they're done are always great, and with your work, it's always fun, and that's I think the thing that I can't speak for Leo and Carrie. They have their own voices, and last I checked, they're not ventriloquist dolls. Your stuff always has a really good sense of humor, which I think is really nice to juxtapose the very serious themes you juggle.
Yeah.
Come on, we're talking about it. I Hate You, Please Die is very dark.
Yeah. That's why I made sure to put some little disclaimers in the beginning, like there's some nice little, I Hate You, Please Die is not by a long shot my most successful thing, but it is the thing I'm most proud of. It is the thing that's most personal to me because it shares a large portion of my actual childhood in this story. Right. So like it is a thing that is very near and dear to me, and I didn't try to pull any punches with any of the content. In fact, I made I think I say I pitched it to Image, and I pitched to Image and Boom. Boom passed on it because they said it was too dark, and I told them, I'm like, listen, you should have seen the first draft of this motherfucker. Like when I wrote the first part, there was no supernatural element, no devil, no anything. It was just a drama, and it was really fucked up. And somebody told me, they were like, listen, this is a great story, but you got to add some fucking humor or some crazy mystery or some shit into this, because oh my God, man, this is rough. So we did a second pass, and that's how it kind of became what it is. But I love this book so much. It is so great. And my artist, Malia Ewert, I love her to pieces. She is one of the most talented illustrators and partners in creating that I've ever worked with. I just adore her. It's so good. It's so stupid, dude. So dumb.
Yeah. I totally have to applaud you for this, because I absolutely love this, and reading in the beginning that you suffered with bullies as well, which I'm assuming a lot of us have. Matter of fact, my mom's in the hospital right now, and I went to go see her, and she brought up one of the things that one of the bullies did to me as a kid. They hit me in the back with a 2x4, and it was
fuck, man,
really, yeah, people can be cruel. It's
it's really shitty, man. And you never, it stays with you forever.
Yeah.
And the thing, the thing about this story was that I don't want to give too much of the story away, but it's the idea that we do such awful things to each other, and it's very easy to pass off this torch of a terrible nature to the people that you're doing this to. That oftentimes those that are bullied bully. And this weird cyclical torturous idea that you're creating a machine that churns out bullies. And so the whole story behind, Gabe is that he's getting all of our ultimate revenge, everything we all wanted when we were bullied, the ability to kill and fucking destroy the lives of the people that made our lives miserable. And in turn kind of loses a grasp on himself and the goodness in him, because he's so determined to pay it forward, essentially. So it's fucked up and it's dark, and even if no publisher ever wants a piece of it, I will make this book till the day I die, because everybody that reads it, when I get responses from companies, it's always oh God, I don't know. Every person that I know that's read it has come back and been this is great. Like, I love this story so much. That means a lot to me. So,
I mean, listen, your boy's picking up where Carrie left off. So and so I mean, I remember. I remember it was a review somebody did of Carrie, the movie, and I would think it was every kid who ever got bullied's dream and every bully's nightmare.
Yeah,
and it was like, that is literally the best one sentence description of Stephen King Carrie ever.
Yeah,
perfect.
It's so true.
Mm-hmm.
It's so true.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's great. I love it. It's so much fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. In fact, the third issue comes out next month. So
oh, nice.
We're definitely going to keep an eye out for it. But
we're releasing a trade of the first 3 too.
Sweet.
I know. Sorry. What was that, Carrie?
I said he needs to give us links for those when they come up so we can get them.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh yeah.
And I know Carrie had a question, but just real quick, actually, this page right here with the teacher that is looking out for the kid and tries to help him out. It's I'm assuming all of us that have been bullied, we had a teacher like that. I'm assuming you did as well.
Yeah, I mean, I had a couple of them. More so in middle school than high school. I did have one, most of the awful shit I went through with bullies was like my freshman and into sophomore year of high school. And like, there was one teacher in my high school that was like kind of indifferent, was just like, yeah, I get it. Like, you can hang out in here. Like, it's fine. Like it's not like, it seemed like it wasn't the first kid that was like, hey, I'm trying to dodge these motherfuckers. Like, can I just stay in here and eat my lunch, please? Like,
right.
So it was good. It was nice. It was a nice safe haven. So yeah.
Awesome.
All right, Carrie, you had something?
Oh, yeah, I was just going to talk about, Lee, if you don't mind, I'm going to pop up the Emerald City Police Department here real quick.
She's a big Oz fan.
Oh, yeah?
Yes.
Oh
yes. I'm a huge fan of Oz, and so having this pop up, I was like, okay, this is just super cool. And I love the way you did everything with the coloring and such, so that there's only green and red, Oz and the ruby slippers or sneakers, as we see in this case, are the only things that show up. But you must be a really big fan of The Wizard of Oz as well, because you got all the lore right. I mean, you got the right names for everybody.
Yeah, so I'm not the biggest Wizard of Oz fan, but I am a huge fan of obsessive nature when it comes to like researching things. So when I was in the military, I was an intel analyst, and my entire job was like analyzing patterns and data to like create like dossiers on people and shit. And so I bring that into like my writing and like my creating stuff. And so when I decide to write a book, and especially something like ECPD that I'm like so fascinated by, I get really deep into it. Like I think I have like 3 notebooks in here of notes of things from the lore and like drawn out maps. I've printed out maps of like from all the old books. I like went into Barnes and Noble and pulled every different version of the books and like took pictures because I didn't want to buy like fucking 10 different books. But I'm really into it. The funny thing about the art you showed though is we had to destroy those. So the physical copies of that one that we did had to be destroyed because it came to our attention after the fact. One of the things I missed is that while The Wizard of Oz is public domain, the MGM rights of the movie are not. And the ruby slippers were created for the movie. So we couldn't have her have red shoes. because it would be an infringement on the copyright of the MGM license.
Yeah.
So because they were silver in the original. Yep. So it was the thing I missed. In my mind, I'm like, that's dope. We'll give her red fucking sneakers. Like that, like it was a fun thing. And then I was like, shit. And then we like made this thing. I had to like take a bunch of copies back. I had to destroy them all. We reprinted it in color and changed them to silver. So
Okay.
yeah, it's wild. But yeah, I love Frank Baum is a fucking nut job. Like I love digging into this stuff because it is the weirdest, most odd, chaotic universe to play in. It's so wild.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Out of everyone you could have chosen to, Nick Chopper would definitely be the one dealing something because his backstory is horrifying.
Yeah.
How he became it was just like, Jesus Christ. How do you survive that without mental damage?
Yeah, I love. So one of the funny things that comes up is, so for anybody who's watching who doesn't know what Emerald City Police Department is, so ECPD takes place in a sort of an alternate version of Wizard of Oz, where there is a thing called the Witch War, and the Witch War is where all the Wicked Witches all fought to try to control Oz. After that ended, there was sort of this power vacuum in Emerald City, and the crime families of Emerald City tried to fight for this power. They're called the Five Jewels. So seeing that there was just all this chaos, the Cowardly Lion creates a militant police force called ECPD to maintain order in Emerald City and recruits Dorothy to come back as his lead detective. And her partner is a reformed flying monkey who is like doing service for citizenship. So that's where we start off at. But the core story of this series is Dorothy is investigating the Yellow Brick Road, which is an underground heroin trafficking route from Munchkinland to Emerald City. I love shitty cop shows. It's like one of my guilty pleasures. Like I could watch fucking CSI Miami all day, every day. That show is so bad and so great all the time. So I knew, like, I just thought it was so funny to do this, like, cop drama, this police procedural, like, in this wild universe with all these crazy creatures and monsters and just psychos living in this one place. So that is ECPD.
And it is glorious.
What carry over on that? You know, and she was like, "I'm in." Like,
Yeah.
he did right, and I'm like, "Oh boy."
So one crazy thing is after we did the Ashcan, the artist who had done the Ashcan, we weren't able to keep him on the series, and one of the things I had been struggling with, like originally I said, hey, I really want to do this. I had wanted to do ECPD more like in a manga style, which is why we did what we did.
Right.
But one of the things that I found, like at the end of the Ashcan, is like it didn't feel brutal enough. Like, and it didn't feel dark enough and kind of fucked up enough. And I struggled for the Ashcan came out and I put everything on pause for a few months because I couldn't figure out what I wanted to do. I felt so conflicted.
Right.
And by like pure chance, I wonder if I send you a photo, can you, like, is there a way to show it?
Yeah.
Drew?
Yeah.
I'll put my email in the private chat and you send that.
Okay.
Yeah. Send it to Leo because he's the keyboard monkey. So
They're on the down.
yeah, he makes us fly. We're his pretties.
Okay, where's
Thank you.
So I went back and kind of like rethought things, rethought how I wanted it to look and everything. And we ended up with a really crazy thing. So I will put these photos here in this email, and you can see how fucking awful this is.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it's really awesome.
What an advertisement, everyone.
Well, I don't try to sugarcoat any of this.
Oh, no. You got to be real.
Yeah.
You know? It's also so funny that you mentioned CSI Miami because back in the day, my family was really big on CSI Vegas. And my mom loves Miami, primarily because she's a fan of Dave Caruso. Yep. And I can't stand it. Because, like you said, it was just like Vegas, I got. Gary Sinise in New York, I was like, okay.
Gary Sinise I fuck with, because he's a great actor.
Right. No, so, him, William Peterson in Vegas, I was like, fine. Yep. But there was just something about David Caruso in Miami. And I think I for a time, I just did my best to always do, his say the line, and then you take the sunglasses off. And I had this friend, I said a line. I was like, can you act like you're starting The Who after I said the line? And he was like, yeah. And so I did it. Like, yeah, exactly. I was like, I guess that's how the cookie crumbled. and we were all drinking at that point, so we all just burst into laughter. So the whole room in the apartment was just dying of laughter, and I was like, I can't top this. It's one of those I can't do the same joke again. It's like
well, I admire anything that in the face of complete mockery takes itself so seriously.
Yeah, and
that show, it's like when Grey's Anatomy. Grey's Anatomy is so fucking bad, but they take it so seriously that I just love it. I can't hate it because I'm just they're so committed. So these are some of the images from the series, from the first issue.
Oh, that's awesome!
It is fucking wild. So Stan Yak is drawing it. Mm-hmm. That's Tatty Poo. She's such a fucking psycho. I really so this is the 5 jewels. This is the 5 jewels of Oz. And they're all super shitty people. But I just love how dark Stan made it. And I really tried to push him to listen, make it fucked up. I want it to be fucked up. And he did not disappoint. So that's the first page colored.
Wow.
It came out really nice. Yeah.
Wow. The main thing is I just looking at the style, even in black and white, it has that gritty 2000 AD kind of feel to it. That 2000 AD Judge Dredd kind of real grittiness to, there's the fantasy because it's, in the future, whatever. But it's real. It's that grounded in reality. People will die.
Yeah.
And just because it's been and I think that's the other thing I like about reading it is I feel some people forget that magic always does have a dark side, and that dark side is very raw and unpredictable, and oftentimes it backfires on people who use it because again I'm going to make this wish. I'm like, yeah, but what wish are you going to make? How are you going to make? What are you going to say? You know what I mean? It's not just as simple as a Disney movie. It's I'm going to make a wish. I'm like, okay, then you're going to die. Yeah, but no, this looks awesome, and I swear, even here I can see Carrie's lights. I'm like, I'll make note of this. Am I right, Carrie?
Well, yeah, I'm already questioning who the 5 jewels are, but is Tatty Poo a takeoff of the Patchwork Girl?
Maybe.
Oh, okay. Good enough.
I'm not telling you too much. I can't tell you too much.
I didn't want to be invasive. I was just like,
no. There's the
one, and that was kind of cool.
It's fucking rad.
I have one. But so, did you ever, Garrett? Did you ever watch Return from Oz? And even as an adult, were you traumatized by its?
No. I mean, listen, listen.
Well, yeah.
I'm traumatized enough.
Yeah.
It takes a great deal to get. Hey, Dar's back.
There, Barbara. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, just because
Hopefully everything's okay.
I remember watching it when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I as a child, I didn't have the stony demeanor that Carrie has remained through her life. I just remember thinking this. I was like, "Oh, this is not the same. Oh no, this is not. This is a. Oh boy, things got dark after Wizard of Oz. Things got really dark.
That's like all I watch like anymore is like just awful, horrific things. This is like the only thing I can get to like feel something. Like I watch, dramas and shit, and I'm just like I'm just like empty. I'm just like oh okay, this is a good story. I don't know. Like I want to like feel pain, man, feel something. So I have a pretty dark catalog of things that I watch. So not much traumatizes me.
I have some suggestions.
Yeah, yeah, Carrie. I think you have a new candidate for Tomb of the Terrible. I think
I mean, you would be good. We watch terrible movies and then we review them, like mostly B movies. But if you really want to feel ultimate pain and sorrow inside because there's just not enough depression already in your life, check out Trees Lounge, Ghost World, both of those. Trees Lounge. It's a Steve Buscemi movie.
Oh, fuck it. I'm in 100%. Like,
yeah, that.
Buscemi. Where's life?
And him in Ghost World. And then anything by Vincent Gallo. There are like three Vincent Gallo movies I could tell you about, but they're all just like, oh God, I'm not sure if I should finish this bottle of Wild Turkey.
What was the name of that person?
Vincent Gallo.
Vincent Gallo. Gallo.
Why that?
Yeah, right.
He did Buffalo 66, Brown Bunny, and Trouble Every Day. And they're all like, he is the king of uncomfortable. You're just like watching it, you're just like physically uncomfortable as things are going through. You're just like, I can't believe this is happening. So yeah, it really just grabbed it kind of in the same way that, have you ever watched May? The movie about the girl who, if you can't find a friend, make one. And it's a girl who has a doll growing up. Yeah. It's all of that kind of feels going throughout it. Like, this is awkward and painful and reminds me of things, and it's a different outlet, but I know that I can relate to that. So yeah.
I just watched, not to get off on this like crazy tangent about like fucked up movies. I just watched Men. Have you seen Men? It's an A24 joint, which is usually always like a fucking checkbox for me. Like A24 made it, I'll watch it. It is about this woman who she tells her partner she wants a divorce, and he's like, I'm gonna kill myself if you leave me. She's like, get the fuck out of here. He like goes upstairs to the apartment above her, jumps out the window, so she has to watch him kill himself. And then she like is fucked up, and she's like, I'm going on a vacation. She's like, I'm gonna get away from all this crazy shit. So she like books this cabin like in rural England, and she shows up, and there's no other people, like there's no women in the town. It's all men. It's very rural, so there's like 20 people that live in town, but it's all dudes. And they're all played by the same actor, but in different prosthetics, different costumes, different things. Like even like CGI to be children, but it's like his face, like really fucked up. And at the end, a dude is birthed through a butthole. It's awesome. It's the weirdest, most fucked up thing I've seen in so long. Like I got to a point at the end that I was like, what the fuck is happening right now? Like in my own life, like I was starting to like question my existence. It was awesome. Awesome. For free.
Okay, so Leo and Jar, Garrett and Carrie are not allowed to choose movie for movie night. I'm just
no, definitely not.
true.
Like Carrie, maybe.
I might watch that though.
No, but Carrie, maybe, because she's cinematically challenged in certain regards. Garrett, love you, buddy. No.
Listen, it's artsy too. It's like, I mean, did you see The Green Knight? That's another one. Put that one on your list too.
Oh no,
Green Knight.
Not the Green Knight, but I just watched his other movie.
Monkey Man?
Yes, Monkey Man. Yep.
I haven't seen it yet. I heard it's awful, which just means I want to watch it.
Yeah, it was definitely not what the trailers made it out to be, but
Really?
Yeah,
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, it's. I enjoyed it.
It just looked like another Hitman beat 'em up.
Well, yeah, it was like he's Indian, right? Like it was like Indian John Wick.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's definitely a very Indian John Wick, but it really goes into like the Indian culture.
Oh, cool.
Interesting.
Yeah,
I mean,
it becomes
that's
like
cool.
very.
Yeah.
Very cool. It becomes very spiritual, and yeah, it's
all right. I fuck with that.
Yeah,
but
does he get the glow? Like,
no,
if they don't break into like dancing and singing at some point, I'll be really.
all right.
It's not an Indian Dragon Ball movie. I mean, like you talk about orbs. Well, I'm like, no. But there's definitely a dance.
He got all spiritual and stuff, you know. Like he's got to use the force.
it's
sort.
one of the main bad guys is this this priest. He's in with the government, and it's all about trying to take the money. But then the good character, there's this, you have this priest that's in full of wealth and everything, and then while he's like down in the dumps and everything, there's a priest of like the back alleys, and they save him. And
Back alley priest was my nickname in college, bro.
There we go. But it's it gets a little different.
I love it. I'm
There's
putting
like
it on my list.
Yeah, because it like brings in
Can we
like
circle back to the back
transvestites
alley
and
priest?
Yeah. Can we circle back to when Leo paused for things? That he kind of like I was not a fan of this. So, but I'm trying to be open-minded for you. So it was different. It was, it's like when somebody when your parents try describing something that they didn't like, but they were like, it was something. It was something else.
Something, yeah.
Yeah, something else. So circling, I think we might want to circle back to the book the time we have.
I was gonna say, where's our squirrel wrangler at?
Yeah, they go. Yeah,
hey, fucked up movies.
Hey, we're getting nuts over there. But because Jar, you came in late, so I wanted you to ask a couple of questions. Because
where were you guys? Did you guys get into "I Hate You"? Now, please.
Oh yeah.
We've been bouncing back and forth. So feel free to go anywhere you want.
Yeah, we did a little bit about Good Old Boy. So there's going to be 6 volumes, Jar.
Good Old Boy.
Yeah, Good Boy.
It's Good Boy.
Good Boy.
I get Old Boy and Good Old Boy and all that all the time. So
yeah, so 6 volumes of Good Boy. There will be superheroes in volume 5.
Whoa.
Yeah, 6 volumes. He's already working on that.
I do have to ask though, in the version of Good Old Boy, does he drive an orange Dodge Charger?
Yes.
Leo, I swear to God,
Good old boy.
I would like to point out that when we go to Good Old Boy, Leo immediately jumps to just a good old boy, and I'm in Korean horror, like, what the fuck did I just watch version of Old Boy?
Yep.
Okay, Carrie,
he's with me. He's with me, right?
Carrie, it was on your version, because I am not going to lie, I imagine Flint Sparks trying to eat an octopus. Like in Bird Boy, And then I was like, I haven't yet to look at a hammer the same ever again after that. I was like, you'd think Dexter Morgan showed us what you could do with the hammer, and then I'm like, oh no. old boy was like, all you need is one blunt object and you can kill an entire hallway of men. And I'm like, oh boy. And I was like, and this before John Wick showed us what we could do with a pencil.
Yeah. With that pencil.
Well, so did we get into Garrett's military existence?
No, so you can go for that.
No. Oh, fantastic.
Go, Jar.
I didn't do it, Jar, whatever it is.
First, you're a Marine, right? Or you are a Marine? No?
Absolutely not. I was Army.
No. Army. Okay, my bad.
I'm just
So
fucking.
first question.
It's just the most offensive thing you can say to call somebody a jarhead, but it's fine. It's fine.
Char.
Jar, we want him to come back, buddy.
I'm sorry, I came in hot.
It's okay. I'm just fucking with you, Jar.
Good, buddy. Tom,
Well, what was military life like?
It was awesome.
Was it? No.
I mean, it was like, so I come from a family of military people. So my father was 101st Airborne Infantry in Vietnam. My grandfather was a combat engineer in World War II. My great-grandfather was in World War I. Like, it's a family tradition. My dad never wanted me to join. He said the military was for people that couldn't afford a college education. And I did it anyway. And, you know, like I did what he wanted. I was like, all right, I'll go to college. And I did college for a little bit. I was like, this sucks, dude. I want like excitement and money and stuff. So I went, joined the Army, and my wife at the time, she had said like, oh, you know, like I won't get, you know, we're not going to get married if you're going to go infantry, because that's what I wanted to do, right? Like I wanted to follow in my dad's and my grandfather's footsteps. And she was like, no. So I was like, all right, cool. Well, I tested really high on the ASVAB, and they were like, you're going to go Intel. And she was like, that was great. And then right after school, got my first duty station was Fort Hood, Texas. And the person even at my school was like, God, I hope you like deploying, bro. I left school, I got to Fort Hood. I was there like 3 months before I left to go to Afghanistan. Did a tour in Afghanistan, got all fucked up, came back, worked for the NSA and a bunch of other stuff, doing like stuff at home. Yeah, I worked for the NSA, CIA, a bunch of other shit, a bunch of alphabet bullshit. And then in an effort to try to like get myself better, because I was struggling with some things I had gone through, I went to my doctor and I told him a bunch of shit that I thought was like confidential, that like, hey, I'm doing like the right thing. Like I'm here to get help. And I told him a bunch of stuff. He turned around and told my chain of command, was like, this guy is not fit for service. Get rid of him. And they immediately put me up for medical board. And luckily, because my injuries were sustained in combat, I got a medical retirement and not a medical discharge. So I got retired out of the military, which means I got a pension and insurance, which is great. Because it allows me to make comics. Yeah, it was, I mean, but I've been around that kind of stuff my whole life. You know, like hearing stories like growing up about my dad and my grandfather, and like seeing them in movies. Like my dad's in the movie Hamburger Hill, like in like flashback scenes and stuff. Like my grandfather's like in a bunch of fucking, I mean, it was like the 40s, right? In LA. My grandfather lived in Torrance, California, and like he's like in the newspaper. It's like, you know, Silver Star recipient saves platoon by blah blah, like fashioned a combat bridge, like to get a group of people out of danger, like under live fire, like fucking just crazy shit. And so it was like very romanticized to me, of like, oh my God, I have to do this thing. This is gonna be so badass. It was not as badass as I thought it would be for a lot of it. That 1 year was really badass. The rest of it was just like a lot of marching and a lot of like doing chores. But like there's, to this day, I miss the like camaraderie and the like structure and like just like this, it's a purpose like that I had when I was in, and like I would go back tomorrow if they told me I could. But luckily, I'm like, well, unluckily for me, I'm barred from reenlistment because of my medical retirement. So can't get around it. I have to get like the attorney general or some shit, like the chief surgeon of the army to sign off if I want to reenlist, which is like never gonna happen. So plus now I'm fat. Like I got out of shape.
Oh, come on.
Like it's a whole thing. Like I can't do all those push-ups anymore.
Listen,
So it must have been cool. Oh, I'm sorry, Drew.
Garrett, if we've learned anything, is that all he needs is a good montage, and he'll lose that weight like nothing.
That's true. Dun, 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 dun. Just start going. Dun, 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 dun.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This montage is
True. Should hire a band to follow me around and do it.
Yeah.
Did you just lay down?
I've always had that dream.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, you did.
There's a
Right.
game that I play called Through Moves. This is one point.
I've had a long day. Okay, you don't get to judge. Okay, all right. Ask him
I was just surprised. I wasn't judging you. I was
He's
just
hanging upside down on one of those things that stretch you out.
Inversion tables.
Drew's getting stretched out. Got it. Next subject.
So it must have been really cool that like so many military peeps were like, drawn to war corns and stuff. How did that even happen? First of all, that like it sounds like a whole war buddies kind of comment.
So I after I'd been out for a little while, and I was like really feeling like nostalgic and shit, and I like love. I mean, one of the greatest things about being in the military is making fun of each other and like fucking with each other, and like hazing the other branches and like doing all this stuff. So I was like, it'll be funny. I'm gonna make a book where I'm gonna like make fun of everybody that I served with, and then like I'm gonna put references to real people in there. Like I'm gonna base characters off of like real platoon sergeants I had and like people I looked up to, people I thought were stupid, like all these things. And at the time, like Franklin and Ghost was starting to go, and it was War Corns was meant to be the original one shot was meant to just be a one shot, one and done. Like we got like this is the series that followed the one shot. So we did an original one shot. They show up to like they're like we build them up to be this like incredible badass fighting force. They show up to this facility where Franklin and Ghost are trying to break in and steal a container. And like by accident, Franklin and Ghost kill all of them. Like they don't even know they're there. Like they're trying to use a machine. They drop a container. It like squishes one of them. Crazy shit. We did it. We ran the Kickstarter. It was super successful. It was my first big like successful Kickstarter. I was like, oh, cool, that was done. Like they all died at the end. And I started getting messages from people on Kickstarter, like, when's the next one? And I'm like, did you read that one? Because they're all dead. They're all dead in it. And they're like, yeah, but like, when's the next one though? And I'm like, I mean, soon, which is like what you always tell people. So I was like, okay, well, while I figure out how to unkill all of them, let's just go back and start at the beginning, how they became the War Corns and shit. So we did this series, and it is so wild. But what's so funny about it is literally this last weekend at Motor City, like the only copy of War Corns I signed all weekend was by a Marine who was in uniform, who was like on duty, like he had like was doing like weekend duty, came right after duty to the show to bring the book and get it signed. Like it is by far the most like hits the hardest with all of them. And I'm like, I'm making fun of you guys, right? Like they're like, yeah, it's so awesome, dude. Like when this happened. So it's really like it's very nice. It's very nice that they are able to like look at like to appreciate it, right? And last in like November of last year, I was approached by the U.S. Army Heritage and Education Center. They were doing a big display in the Army Museum for veterans who use art as therapy for PTSD. And they were like, hey, so we saw this comic, War Corns. what the fuck is this? They had seen a new newspaper article that my hometown did about like how I use comics to deal with my trauma and shit. And they were like, yo, we want to put this in the Army Museum. Can we do this? They did this big long interview with me. There's a giant cutout of Big Sarge like in the Army Museum.
Oh yeah.
There's like a big stupid picture of my face and like my military pictures and stuff about the story, about whatever. So it's very weird. Like it's a very weird thing that like it was just supposed to be a joke, making fun of my buddies, and now it's like in a museum. It's so strange. But they are those five now in Back to Basics. There's Staff Sergeant Kill, but those five characters are very fun to write. I very seldom have as much fun. Like all of my stuff is unhinged, but like Warcorns, I take myself the least seriously, and I just do the most outlandish, dumb shit I can think of. The next, we're working on the next Warcorns right now. It's called Six Shooters and Skull Kickers. It's have any of you read all of the Warcorns miniseries?
Yeah.
I think we all did. Yeah.
Have you read Birthday Bash, which came after the miniseries? Okay, so at the end of Birthday Bash, they all disappear. They all like no one knows where the Warcorns are. And we find out in the next one that a bunch of them got sucked back to the past, to the Wild West. And now they show up and they're like them. And there's all this crazy shit happening in this town. It's very Tremors, like very like peaceful town being haunted by monsters. And like they ride horses and become cowboys. It's so stupid. I love it so much. Like Gunny falls in love with a big like this giant Clydesdale named Bertha. It's like this. It's just so stupid.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I thought it was funny when they had the Mountie in one of them riding on top of a horse.
Yeah.
I was just
Rico
like,
Tremblay.
wow.
He's a Canadian Mountie. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was like, that is hilarious.
That's something that I like with it. And you said you have the absurd verse, but you have regular dogs in Good Boy. And I'm slightly confused still as to how some of the human anthropomorphic dogs relationships work out, because I love when the one interview, the lady's just like, that anthropomorphic creatures
like,
occur in this universe. Why are you doing? Yeah. So but then so having like a dog with a dog or a horse. Yeah. So
that's entirely
really fun.
It's very intentional because like we want people to like try to like figure out. They're like, I don't understand how is breeding happening? What is happening here? There's like humans, and then there's human dogs, and then there's like cats, there's real dogs. Like, what is going on? And I'm like, I don't know. What do you think's going on?
Right.
And then you just like watch them squirm, and they're like, I don't know. It's great. And we'll never answer it. You'll never get an answer to that question because it makes me so happy that no one understands it. Yeah.
I honestly feel like it's just if someone came with you like a crazy theory and they had this whole thing, you just be like, yes.
I say yes to everything.
Right.
So like no matter what people guess, I always say yes, so that it like creates like different stories out there, and then like, well, but he said this, but then he said this was true too. I will say that we know from Prodigal Son, the third volume, we know that Flint has a kid. So we know that these human dogs can have children with humans. But other than that, we're just going to like let people figure it out.
Nah, man, it's just a fucking comic book. Just enjoy it.
That's the point. People would get like, but you can't have that. I'm like, I can have anything I want.
It's my world.
Made up thing. We made it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you trying to comic explain me? Like, no.
Yeah.
So, Leo, do you have any questions? Because I know we're coming near an hour, and that's kind of your move.
Yeah, no, we're actually a little bit past, so I think I'm all good.
Okay, cool. Making sit.
Go ahead, Leo. Come on.
Listen, we're good. What you got?
Okay. Well, no. You mentioned watching, crappy cop shows. Is there anything you're watching right now?
So it's not a crappy cop show, but it is kind of like I'm watching it because it's got a bit of an inspiration, like into ECPD and other stuff that I'm working on. But I've been watching Barry.
I love Barry.
Barry is so like I love movies that have characters that don't make sense. Like it's so out of their fucking like realm, right? Like I don't know if you guys have seen Nobody. Like Nobody,
love Nobody.
Fucking awesome because I always want to call him Saul Goodman. Fucking I forget his real name. He is just like not that dude.
Right.
It's just not that dude. So like it's so awesome to watch that where like he's so seems so out of place, but so perfect. And Bill Hader is one of the funniest fucking human beings on the planet.
Yeah.
And watching him like switch it from like I'm in season 4 right now. Like we're like I'm at the end. Like I think like 4 is the last season.
Mm.
And
so
I'm in fully unhinged Bill Hader right now. And watching the like genius fucking acting of this guy go from like I'm crazy and I don't really understand what's going on. Like reality is unraveling around me, and then someone shoots at him, and it's like a light switch, and he's just like totally serious and super fucking scary. I just love it. I love it, and I've been watching things like that because I'm writing characters that are like bipolar, personality disorder, like stuff like that. So I just clung to that, and I've been watching it straight for like the last week and a half, just like straight through every day. I'm like, have my lunch, I'm gonna watch 2 episodes of Barry, just like get through it.
Awesome.
But I did like the last one. I mean, my 12-year-old's obsessed with NCIS, so that's always kind of on in the house. Listen, I know it's just so bad. But it's so good that it's so bad. It's just so awful. But the last thing I watched, I haven't really watched any other cop stuff recently except for The Little Things, which was a fucked up cop drama. That shit was fucking wild. And then I just watched Talk to Me, which is not a cop show.
If you haven't seen it already, Baby Reindeer.
That's on my list. That's on my list because it's also super fucked up, right?
Wicked. It like goes places you're not even expecting it to go. It's just like
it's on my list. I'm so excited for it.
Talk about trauma though.
Ooh. Oh, for sure. Like that's. I thought it was so funny I love that he put just that fucking awful trauma into this show just for the world to see. Like I thought it was. Like when I was talking to Boom about I Hate You Please Die, and they came back and they were like, oh, this is, not really like the kind of like bombastic comedy that we're interested in. And I was like, I don't know if you don't know what the word bombastic means, or like if you don't understand like that it has to be that crazy to offset like the very real awful trauma we're addressing here. But I applaud, I forget his name, the guy that made Baby Reindeer, but like good on him. Like that's going to be, I'm so excited to watch it. It's going to be so fucking crazy.
No, I finished it in a day, maybe a day and a
Really?
half.
Is it a movie or a show?
It's a series. It's a small like mini series.
Oh, okay. So it's not like
I think it's like six or eight, somewhere in there.
Oh, that's like a weekend, man. That's
yeah.
Oh yeah. But yeah,
it should definitely give you some ideas too, man.
Good.
You want to get some weird shit out
the more awful stuff we can cram into my brain, the better. Yeah.
Andrea, you had a question?
I wanted to bring up before we let you go here. Before the show, I was just looking over the Kickstarter that you had. That it looks like it just finished up pretty recently for Trample.
Yeah.
And I had a slideshow ready to go. will not share it for some reason, so I just moved everything over here. I just wanted to show some people the covers, but what we have here is it was in part for your 10-year celebration of writing comics, and the story, it says, is a child is killed by a trap that is set for the mother, then hunts down and destroy those responsible for it. It's 32 pages, and it is loosely based on a terrible true story, or something like a ridiculously true story.
Ridiculously true story. So there was a article I love. I just get like the algorithm can be both terrifying but also so awesome, because I get like, it knows I'm like love ridiculous stupid stories, and so I get like all these like, here's a suggested article for you, like of a story from 10 years ago, and it was a lady in, I believe it was India. She accidentally scared a baby elephant. The mom was there, got pissed, and stomped her to death. And then weeks later, and like miles away, they're having this woman's funeral. And the same elephant shows up to her funeral, scares everybody off, breaks her body out of the casket, and stomps it again.
Oh my God.
It's fucking wild. So I was like, this has got to be a comic book. Like, this is wild. So we made it poachers who were trying to like hunt for this great elephant and accidentally catch the baby in the trap. And mom's not pleased. And so like she kills them. And then they're like taking their body back to the U. Like their bodies are being like escorted back to the US. And she like storms the flight line and like destroys the plane, like breaks the bodies out, just like in a ball of flame, just fucking like stomps these people again. It's funny because I just got the books in for the Kickstarter today. Like this is the Ivan Tao like foil and embossed cover.
Look at that.
It's so fucking awesome.
That is gorgeous.
Yeah.
That tree looks dope on that.
It turned out so good. But yeah, it looks great. It's so awesome and ridiculous.
Are you opening a store with all those pop figures?
Dude, so I collect signed pops. Most of the ones that I have are autographed. With the exception of all the Office ones, because there's so many. But like I learned a very long time ago that I can't be much of a collector anymore, because one, it's so like I get a lot of gifts for some reason. People like bring me things and they're like, here, I brought you this thing. And like, I don't have room for like all this stuff. So I was like, okay, I like Funko Pops. I'm going to collect Funko Pops, but I'm not going to collect them all. I'm going to collect a very small group of them. And like, I'm only going to keep them like if I can get them signed. Because then it's like a moment and a memory, and it's like a special thing. So I have like a bunch up here that are signed and all kinds of shit. Probably the best one is I have Dumb and Dumber, signed by Jim Carrey and Jeff and Jeff. So like I've got them. Got Ramona Flowers, who's my fucking fictional girlfriend / wife.
Where'd you catch Jim Carrey at?
It was a mail-in. It was like a special like thing. It wasn't public. It was like Jim Carrey's coming in to sign stuff. Do you want things signed?
Like what?
Yes. But I've got
that could be like a scary introduction to Jim Carrey, or it could also be like a really good introduction to him.
No.
Depending on how he's feeling.
Yeah, no. I have probably the best ones. Is I've got. So I do a show every year called Voices Against Cancer. It's a children's cancer charity event in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. And they bring in like the craziest stars to this show. And then me. I don't ask questions. So you go to these things and like you get to like it's not like a convention where like, oh, like everyone's got their agents or whatever. Like everyone stays together, everyone hangs out together, like all of this. So last year, John Rhys Davies and Lawrence McClure were there, who, you know who John Rhys Davies is, but Lawrence McClure is played the Witch King of Angmar, and he played Lurtz, the Uruk guy, and like tons of other things. So like I got all of my Lord of the Rings pops signed by them, and I've got like like No Man Can Kill Me, like signed by the Witch King. I've got Toss Me, the Gimli. I got my Gimli pop signed.
Nice.
Toss Me by John Rhys-Davies. So yeah, it's a lot. I'm a fucking nerd.
Yeah, I was about to
Plus,
say
I
that
like
to
Ninja
everybody.
Turtles. Plus, I like Ninja Turtles.
Oh, you got the shoes.
I do.
Oh, nice.
That's.
You got a
really
different
nice.
turtle on every check mark.
I almost folded and got the Masters of the Universe shoes, but
From Bull Airs.
yeah,
Dude,
they were crazy.
listen, this has turned into one big infomercial of me, like, because I love Bull Airs, though, makes the fucking sickest shoes. Like, the problem is I never want to wear them. Like,
well,
I
that's
buy
true.
them and I'm like, oh, I can't. They're so pretty.
That was the buying factor. My wife was just like, "Will you ever wear these?" I'm like,
I am going
"No."
to start wearing them, though. I decided. I saw Kevin Eastman wearing his. He has these same ones. They're called the Party Wagons. Kevin Eastman was wearing his, and I was like, if Kevin has the balls to wear his, I also will wear mine. So I'm going to start wearing them at Dallas Fan Expo.
Put little slippies on them, so you don't scuff them and stuff.
You know, actually, I did just discover this thing you can buy on Amazon where they're skins for the bottom of your shoes.
Oh no shit!
And it's like a little like thin layer of like adhesive, and it like rolls onto the bottom of your shoe. You wear it to the con and around, and then at the end you peel it off and it looks brand new.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so I am gonna get those before I wear them to Dallas. But plus, I'm gonna have to switch out my Leo check marks because he's the best turtle. So
Boy,
Yeah.
where's Justin Cooper when you need him, right, guys?
who?
Right.
Justin Cooper?
He's our resident shellhead.
Well, listen, Justin Cooper's the one that was trying to get me like in with Bull Airs because I was like trying to do good boy shoes, and I said, listen, you're already making limited quantity shoes. I guarantee you, if you make good boy shoes, we can sell 50 pairs of them, like 100%. And I could never get Tom Bowman to like do it. And Justin was like, dude, you don't understand. Fucking good boy's dope. Like, we need good boys. Like, it would be a good John Wick kind of shoe.
There you go.
It's so fucking perfect. And you wouldn't have to worry about the fucking licensing rights because the creator is telling
Yeah, right.
Love that.
Yeah. So, yeah, we're trying. I haven't given up hope. I'm going to get a good boy shoe.
There you go.
Can we see the Flint figure that you have behind you?
Yes, you can. So we have vinyl figures. We have vinyl toys for Good Boy.
Yeah. The last time you were on.
My good friend Audra Lockwood, she is an incredible painter. She makes like altered paintings. She did some customs.
Oh wow!
on Flint. She did this. He's got real jewelry on.
Oh, nice.
Look at
I
his
love
little,
that.
look at his, and he's got a golden gun. Like, it's so good. He's got little skulls in his eyes. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
She painted like a set of them for our backers on the Kickstarter, and this one came in and I was like, this one is mine. Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's amazing. All right.
Yeah.
Well,
Just falling asleep. So
please, just I'm content that this went really well.
really unprofessional, Drew.
Shut you. You know what? Thank you for the time. And before you go, the only thing and Leo would cover this. It'd be like, how do people interact with you? Like, what's the best social media?
You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, whatever, at Some Writer Guy. Because if you can't remember who wrote it, Some Writer Guy. That's it.
Genius.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And we got a
Well,
lot
I got tired of carrying business cards. That was so much easier.
Bam.
I got a lot of your information, show notes up above or down below. And before we let you go, just two recommendations real quick. Mr. In Between, have you seen that?
Nope, but I'm adding it to my list.
Ooh, it's a Australian show. It's like a hitman trying to be good. It's very similar to Barry.
Okay.
But,
I like
but
that.
it's like an Australian one, and like, yeah, really dark.
Okay.
But another one similar to Barry, it's not as dark though. Get Shorty.
I don't get
The
shorty.
TV show.
Oh. Okay.
yeah, it's from what, it's the TV show is awesome.
All right.
It's
Got it on my list. I have so many things to watch. I already had such a long list.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Well, we'll let you go, Garrett. I want to thank you so much for your time this evening. And there's a leave studio button on the bottom. When you click that, if you remember, brings you to an uploads page. You can just let it finish the uploads, and then we do some editing afterwards with the raw video.
Sounds good to me. Thank you guys so much for having me on.
Sorry, I keep dipping out your family.
It's okay.
emergencies.
Listen, I got 2 of those fucking things. I know how it goes. It's not a problem. Trust me.
His clock starts, so he gets.
Yeah.
You know, yeah.
Yeah. So thank you very much, guys. And
Thank you.
Hopefully you have me back again.
Yeah, and please, if you're ever at a con that we're at, we'll find you. We will.
You should.
And we will.
I'll be coming up. I'll be at Fan Expo Dallas, Denver. I'll be at Baltimore. I'll be at New York. Hopefully, I'll be at I'm trying to get into Wicked, and I'm trying to go to Heroes Con, and I'm trying to go to Galaxy Con. So those are the ones I'm working on right now.
Damn.
Well, we'll make sure we bring you beer next time we see you.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah. All right.
Awesome.
All right, guys. I'll talk to you later.
Have a good night.
All right.
Bye.
Thank you, guys.
Excelsior!